The Day Before saga has officially reached its conclusion. As Fantastic confirmed, servers were being shut down January 22nd, 2024. But contrary to popular belief, the Day Before wasn't a scam. Because you see, scams are clever, meticulously constructed mazes of confidence where the end goal is to abscond with your funds before you even realize what happened. And this is coming from a guy who 10 months ago published a video titled, "Is the Day Before a Scam?" And I came to the conclusion that, yeah, it probably was in one way or another, because after hours of research, I listed several red flags and ended the video by telling people not to pre-order or purchase this game at launch. Now, I could understand why many immediately wishlisted this game, but as time went on, players were spoon-fed one of the weakest cons I've ever seen. And by spoon-fed, I mean, here comes the airplane style, because only a child would believe this was going to end up being good. You see, one thing all scams have in common is they target the weakest link in the chain. For the elderly, it's this blanket respect for authority combined with a butter-soaked grasp on technology. Another weakness to exploit is isolation, used to suck thousands of dollars from lonely men. And social media has cultivated a weak link all on its own. It's a seed native to its natural habitat called impulsivity. And I find it amazingly ironic to watch people call the Day Before a scam while simultaneously struggling to admit that they were too daft and gave Fantastic way more credit than they deserve, because those same people screaming scam had access to all of this free information, whether it be articles or YouTube videos, but refused to use that knowledge to fill that hole in their brain, a hole just big enough for common sense to slip through and spend $40 on this game at launch. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to hide my laughter, because this heist was not designed by Danny Ocean. It had all the complexities of a children's maze, and Fantastic did everything possible to tell you there was no way they could deliver the game they promised, and you guys still bit the hook. You're the guy who just sent Selena Gomez $1,000 because her manager froze her accounts and she needs to get home. And the thing that I saw all over social media was zero accountability. No one stepping forward and saying, "Damn, I can't believe I got. Instead, it was everyone stepping forward to say, how could they do this to us? Like what? How could they warn you for years and then actually release the turd they've been publicly cooking? And my favorite was IGN basically being the hot dog guy in this skit, screaming, "Look at this lump of shit," giving it a 1 out of 10 while hoping you forget all the times they put that lump of shit on the front page. This is the game that NVIDIA highlighted as taking advantage of RTX, but maybe, just maybe, that can bring you some solace that these big corporations, including a media site filled with journalists, were also duped. Or maybe, just like you, they couldn't see the writing on the wall because their focus was on something else. For them, it might have been money, and for you, it was this mirage. Like you wanted so badly to believe this game was real, you ignored the red flags that stood the height of Andre the Giant. Because you see, our response to someone getting scammed differs depending on how believable the scam was relative to the person who got scammed. See, those elderly phone scams I was talking about? Awful. And I understand why. Someone who thought they were going to get a PlayStation 5 off Temu for $50? Hilarious. And that's what's happening here. I'm not going to shame Fantastic for what they did. I'm going to laugh and shame you for being stupid enough to pay $40, because all it would have taken was just waiting a few hours, just a few hours. It's 2023. You don't even have to wait for a review anymore. You have access to live streams to actually see the state of a game. And then if you decide to buy it, you could own that game within the hour because of digital downloads. I'm supposed to feel bad for you, not only because you couldn't see the neon colored signs drawn in crayon, but also because you had the patience of a squirrel and couldn't wait a few hours before clicking the purchase button. And look, I don't say this to defend Fantastic. Fuck Fantastic. Their eyes were clearly bigger than their stomachs, but instead of being honest and scaling back, they essentially drowned in their own lies. But they were emboldened by you. They faked it until all of you told them they made it. Emboldened by Nvidia, by IGN, the game sold over 200,000 copies, even though you had multiple creators like myself who used their videos as giant industrial fans to make sure you smelled what we smelled, but you held your nose and you closed your eyes because the dream fantastic soju felt better than the reality I gave you for free. IGN and Nvidia were scammed. Those investors were scammed. Steam is now issuing refunds for all purchases. You lost nothing. But to tell you the truth, you probably shouldn't be granted a refund because losing those $40 would have been worth the lesson alone. Like and subscribe, you filthy animals.